Thank you very much. We just had a very, very good meeting with Chairman Kim, and we've agreed that we're each going to designate a team, and the team will try and work out some details. And again, speed is not the object. We want to see if we can do a really comprehensive, good deal. Nobody knows how things turn out, but certainly this was a great day. This was a very legendary, very historic day. It was quick notice. Nobody saw this coming. And it was great that he was able to react so quickly and that we were all able to react so quickly. But in speaking with President Moon, oftentimes he was saying this is historic. Just the meeting is historic. And I think there's something to that. It'll be even more historic if something comes of it, something very important. But a lot has already come of it because you see what's going on. And you see what's happening, and you see the level of relationship as opposed to the way it was when I came into office. When I came into office, it was a fiery mess. It was bad things were going on. And the end of the other administration, the last administration, was nothing but trouble. You saw what was happening. I mean, you don't report it accurately, but that's okay. Someday history will record it accurately. I can just say that for 2.5 years, we've had peace for 2.5 years with nothing signed. It was just based on relationship. But President Moon was saying very strongly that he said he would have never believed that a thing could go on like this, so friendly, so peacefully, for so long. So we've agreed to have teams set up. We're going to have the United States will have a team. Secretary of State Pompeo will pick it. We already know the gentleman. Good luck, Steve.
Thanks, sir.
And you all know Steve. He's a pro and a good man, and he likes both countries very much. So Steve's going to head it up, and under the auspices of our great Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo. And what's going to happen is over the next 2 or 3 weeks, the teams are going to start working to see whether or not they can do something. Very big stuff. Pretty complicated, but not as complicated as people think. A lot of our great triumphs have been based on relationship, and this is one where, I mean, it's been just a different story. You saw when they were showing us around, when they were showing President Moon and myself around, and they were talking about 2.5, 3 years ago, it was really dangerous out there. You couldn't move. People were being killed. A lot of bad things were happening, and they said since Singapore, it's been a whole different ballgame. And I was telling Chairman Kim that actually, to me, Hanoi was a great success. The press reported it the opposite. But you need that, and you sometimes need things like that to happen. But it was a great success because we maintained our relationship. So we're going to have teams. They're going to meet over the next few weeks, and they're going to start a process, and we'll see what happens. And I'd like to have, first of all, I guess you'll do a little interpretation, and then we'll have the President say a few words.
예, 원래는 올해 GP의 공동 방문까지만 예정돼 있었던 것인데 트럼프 대통령님의 대담한 제안에 따라서 역사적인 만남이 이루어졌습니다. 트럼프 대통령님의 아주 과감하고 독창적인 그런 접근 방식에 대해서 경의를 표하고 싶습니다. 오늘의 만남을 통해서 한반도의 완전한 비핵화와 항구적 평화를 구축하기 위한 평화 프로세스가 큰 고개를 하나 넘었다는 생각입니다. 전 세계와 우리 남북의 8천만 결의에게 큰 희망을 주었습니다. 방금 트럼프 대통령께서 말씀하신 대로 양측에서 실무협상 대표를 선정해서 빠른 시일 내에 실무협상에 돌입하기로 한 것만으로도 앞으로 좋은 결과가 성큼 눈앞에 다가왔다고 생각합니다. 큰 기대를 가지고 있습니다. 트럼프 대통령께 감사드립니다.
I also want to thank Chairman Kim because, frankly, when we put out that notice, knowing the press, like I do, had he decided not to come, you would have hit me. You would have hit me hard. So we're thanking him and for doing it on such quick notice. He had less than 24 hours, I guess, and that's pretty good. We moved mountains. I want to thank Secret Service and all of the people that work so hard, our military in particular, all of the people that work so hard, because setting something like this up so quickly is very hard. It's very hard, and I can only say the meeting was a very good one, very strong, very solid, great relationship, and we'll see what can happen. Now we'll just see if we can do something. But again, we want to get it right. We don't want to. We're not looking for speed. We're looking to get it right. And in the meantime, there's been no nuclear tests. There's been no ballistic missiles. There's been a lot of goodwill. And there continues to be, maybe if anything, better. I think probably after today, better than it was even before. So I want to thank all of the media. I'm going over to our great military base, and I'm going to speak to our troops. And I've been doing this now for about 3 weeks straight, in one form or another, having to do with one thing or another. And I actually look forward to being on Air Force One. We're going to be heading home, and a lot of you are coming with us, but I look forward to it. But first, I'm going to say a few words to our troops. Yes, we went and met at the line, and in meeting at the line, I said, would you like me to come across? He said, I would be so honored. And that's the way it worked out. And I guess, from what I understand, this is the first time something like that, Mr. Admiral, first time that something like that's happened. But I asked him, I said, would you like me to come across the line? He said, I would be honored to do that. I would be honored. Now, I didn't know really what he was going to say, but it was my honor to do it. We had a very good meeting. This was a pretty big move today, I imagine, based on what everyone's telling me, but it was my honor, and I said that to him. And we had a pretty long chat. We were going to have a chat for 5 minutes, as you know, and it ended up being pretty long, I guess an hour or something, but it was a very positive, this was a very positive day, a very positive event, and I think it's good really for the world. This is what happened today, I think, is great for South Korea. I think it's great for North Korea. I think it's great for the world. You know, when we started this, you had missiles flying over Japan. They weren't so happy. They wouldn't. You know, you'd have the sirens going and a lot of problems. I think you all remember the case of Hawaii. You remember that whole situation. You remember Guam. You remember what was happening there. I mean, the world was a very tense place. And I became president, and we went through a rough dialogue for a while. You covered it very well. But we went through a very rough dialogue, and then all of a sudden we came together. So let's see how it happens. We have Steve is going to do a fantastic job. He's going to be representing us in the talks, and we'll be dealing with South Korea. We'll be dealing with President Moon and his people. But pretty much it's going to be, the initial talks will be between the United States and with North Korea. And President Moon will be right there taking over.
What was Chairman Kim's response to your invitation?
The invitation initially? Well, we were contacted almost immediately when I went out with...
To the United States.
Oh, well, I just asked him outside. I said, you know what? At the right time, you're going to come over. We're going to go over there. We have a ways to go yet. We'll see. But I would certainly extend the invite. But I actually mentioned out there in front of the press, I said, anytime he wants to do it. But I think we want to take this down to the next step. Let's see what happens. A very, very positive meeting. And we had a positive meeting, very positive, on trade with President Xi of China. That was a great meeting we had yesterday. See what happens, but it was a great meeting. And again, no hurry. All these people, they hurry with these deals. They turn out to be disasters. No hurry, no real speed. Go ahead.
Did the chairman promise that he wouldn't do any more missile tests? Because there have been a few since Hanoi.
Well, very small ones.
Sure.
These are missiles that practically every country tests. I mean, we're very safe. We don't consider that a missile test. Actually, it wasn't a test. But we're talking about ballistic missiles, long-range ballistic missiles. And not only not testing them, hasn't even come close to testing. And most importantly, there were no nuclear tests. If you remember, the end of the Obama administration and the early part of my administration was tremendous nuclear testing. They had a mountain moved over. You remember the big earthquake? They thought it was an earthquake. It was a massive 9-point-something earthquake. It turned out to be a nuclear test. So I think we're on a very good path. We're on a very good path. This was a terrific day. And now let's say hello to our great troops, right? You guys going over there? Good. I'll see you over there. Thank you all very much. Excuse me? They're staying on. I mean, at some point, look, I'm looking forward to taking them off. I don't like sanctions being on his country. I'm looking forward, but the sanctions remain, yes. But at some point during the negotiation, things can happen. And that's when we'll be talking about sanctions, okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Justice.